There's a reason most men never truly understand women. Because if they did, society would flip, the power would shift, and the illusions that women maintain would collapse. You're not supposed to know her secrets. You're supposed to stay in the dark, chasing, pleasing, apologizing for being a man, but not after this. Because today you're going to learn what she never says out loud, but always thinks. What she acts like she doesn't feel, but always does. These are truths not spoken in relationship advice books. These are ancient instincts, embedded deep in the female psyche, that the Stoic man sees, understands, and uses to his advantage. This isn't about manipulation. It's about clarity. It's about freeing yourself from emotional slavery. Because the moment you go quiet, the moment you stop explaining, stop overgiving, stop proving, she starts losing her grip. She starts losing her mind. And what you'll learn in this video will make you untouchable. Part 1. Women are masters of subtle control. You'll never hear her say, "I'm testing you," but she is. She won't admit she's pulling away just to see if you'll chase, but she does. Women operate in the emotional realm. They don't say what they feel. They make you feel what they feel. That's why a Stoic man doesn't just listen to words, he watches patterns. She'll joke about other men, subtly question your confidence, or even flirt in front of you, not to hurt you, but to probe you. Do you break? Do you get angry? Do you react emotionally? Because if you do, you've failed the test. She knows she can control you. But if you stay calm, if you look her in the eye with that stoic silence, you pass. You've shown her you're not easily moved. And in that moment, her respect multiplies. This isn't cruelty, it's evolutionary strategy. And the man who can stay centered in the chaos becomes her obsession. Part 2. Emotional manipulation isn't always malicious. Most women don't even know they're manipulating. It's not planned, it's instinctual. She pulls away. She withholds affection. She acts cold, not because she's evil, but because she's testing if you'll beg, if you'll bend. What she needs is reassurance that you are stronger than her emotional storms. If you fall apart every time she gets distant, she loses faith in your frame. But if you stay firm, if you don't chase, if you stay on your mission, she sees you as a rock, a man who cannot be moved. And that man, that's the one she respects. That's the one she opens up to. That's the one she becomes addicted to. Because deep inside every woman is a question. Can he handle me at my worst? And the Stoic man answers that, not with words, with silence, with presence, with strength. Part 3. Hypergamy is real and ancient. No matter how much society sugarcoats it, hypergamy is real, and if you ignore it, you suffer. Hypergamy means a woman will naturally be drawn to the man who provides the most value, emotionally, physically, socially. It doesn't mean she's a gold digger. It means her biology is wired to survive. She's scanning. Who is the strongest leader? Who can protect her emotionally and physically? Who holds frame when things get chaotic? If you're insecure, if you constantly seek validation, if you don't lead your life with purpose, you'll get replaced. Not because she's cruel, but because she must follow strength. The Stoic man understands this and embraces it. He doesn't cry over it. He uses it. He builds his purpose. He sharpens his discipline. He becomes the undeniable choice, not the option. Because in the game of attraction, you don't win by being nice. You win by being valuable. Part 4. Silence is louder than words. In the world of men and women, silence isn't weakness. It's dominance. When you go quiet, truly quiet, not in anger, not in fear, but in presence, she feels it deeply. Women are used to men over-explaining, over-apologizing, over-sharing. But when you give her silence, she has to sit with herself. Her actions echo in her own mind. And in that stillness, she starts to question. Did I go too far? Why isn't he reacting? Is he pulling away? Your silence flips the power. It creates mystery. And mystery is magnetic. Because what's predictable becomes boring. But what she can't figure out becomes an obsession. The Stoic man knows that his greatest weapon isn't loudness. It's withholding energy. Not to punish her, but to protect his peace. Part 5. Never compete for her attention. The moment you start chasing, you lose your value. Women want a man who other women want, but he doesn't chase any of them. She'll create scenarios to test this. She'll mention another man's name. She'll delay replies. She'll post thirst traps. But the man rooted in purpose doesn't flinch. Why? Because he knows attention is currency. The more you spend it on her approval, the cheaper you become. The less you spend it, the more expensive you are. Be the man whose time feels rare, whose energy is sacred, Because the less you seek her validation, the more she starts seeking yours. Part 6. She doesn't want to be your therapist. A harsh truth most men never hear. She is not your emotional safe space. Women say they want vulnerability, but only in doses they respect. The moment you start dumping your pain, your anxiety, your fear, she may comfort you once, maybe twice. But inside, a voice whispers, "This man isn't stable." It's not fair, but it's reality. Women are attracted to strength, not suffering. This doesn't mean you should be emotionless, but you must process your emotions through mission, not tears. Your purpose is your therapist. Your gym, your craft, your discipline, that's your therapy. Because when she sees you face chaos and still stand tall, she feels safe. And a woman in safety becomes her most feminine. Part 7. Confidence isn't loud, it's quiet certainty. Real confidence doesn't boast. It doesn't beg. It doesn't bark. It simply is. The most attractive men don't walk into a room screaming their worth. They walk in like they don't need to prove it. They speak slow. They move with purpose. They don't react, they observe. And when they speak, people listen, not because they're loud, but because they're rooted. See, confidence is born from self-trust, from doing hard things consistently, from making promises to yourself and keeping them. Women can smell false bravado, but true inner certainty? That's rare. That's irresistible. Part 8. Attention is her drug, don't be her dealer. Every like, every compliment, every good morning text feeds her dopamine. And once she knows she can get that supply from you anytime, you've become her emotional crutch. Women don't fall for the man who worships them. They fall for the man who challenges them, who withholds validation until it's earned. You compliment her only when it's genuine. You respond when it fits your mission, not her mood swings. And when she senses that she doesn't control your attention, she starts craving it. Not because you're playing games, but because you've made your attention valuable. Part 9. She wants to surrender, but only to a man who leads. Deep down, every feminine woman wants to surrender, not in weakness, but in trust. But she can only do that if you lead. Not just in dates and decisions, but in emotional energy, in vision, in direction. You set the tone. You create the structure. You walk ahead and she follows willingly. If she has to lead the relationship, she resents you. If she has to tell you how to be a man, she questions if you are one. Lead your life. Lead your purpose. Lead your presence. And she will surrender, not because you forced her, but because you gave her something worthy to trust. Part 10. A Stoic man never fears loss. Most men walk on eggshells because they fear losing her, but fear is the fastest way to lose her. A Stoic man loves deeply, but never desperately, because he knows his worth. He knows his mission. He knows that if she leaves, it's not the end. It's a filter. Desperation repels. Detachment attracts. You don't hold on with fear. You stand with abundance. And in that mindset, even if she walks away, she'll never forget you. Because you weren't just a man, you were a standard. Final words, she doesn't want to control you, she wants to feel. You're uncontrollable. Here's the paradox. She'll test you. She'll push you. She'll try to shake your frame. But the moment you break, she loses interest. What she truly wants is a man she can't shake, a man whose presence silences her chaos, whose mission dwarfs her games, whose energy makes her feel safe, even when she's storming inside. Be that man, not for her, but for you, and you'll never have to chase again. Value, emotionally, physically, socially. It doesn't mean she's a gold digger. It means her biology is wired to survive.